The timing of this vote, it is my understanding from leadership, is likely to occur today. I have no objections to the timing of this vote, and the reason is simple. There's nothing to be gained from delaying this vote 1 day or 2 days. The outcome will be the same. Every senator, every member of the House is going to have to make a decision where he or she stands.
Welcome to Opinion Journal. I'm Mary Kissel. Thanks a lot, Ted Cruz. That was the senator from Texas just moments ago talking about the bipartisan deal that was worked out in the nick of time in the Senate and that will soon go to the House for a vote to avoid default on U.S. debt. I've got editorial board member Steve Moore in Washington to talk about the deal and also to talk about who was responsible for taking us to this amazing brinksmanship. Steve, first, give us a quick summary. What is this deal all about?
Well, Mary, literally the agreement that Mitch McConnell and Harry Reid reached was just minutes ago. So we're dealing with real time here. And so we only have some of the sketchy details, but it looks as though basically the Democrats got pretty much everything that they wanted. It's a clean debt ceiling. It's a clean extension of reopening the government for another few months. This goes through, I believe, the middle of January, Mary. Republicans didn't get much in the way of what they wanted. No reforms or delays in Obamacare. They got one little item, which was a change in the verification to make sure that people who get the subsidies are actually eligible for them. But not much else, Mary. And so you have to say, politically, it looks like a victory for the president.
Yeah, a big victory for the president, Steve. I think there's also some sort of budget committee, but it's not binding. We're going to learn more about that in these next hours.
Mary, I've been in Washington for 30 years. I mean, I've lived through 100 of these budget committees.
Yeah, I know.
and
probably not going to go very
commissions,
far.
And they never lead to anything. So that's, I believe, kind of a farce.
Steve, I want you to name names. Who were the Republicans or the lobby groups in Washington that were responsible for rejecting the House deal that could have solved this days ago?
If you're talking about the House deal that was going to move forward yesterday, which I thought was, made some sense given where Republicans were, it would have basically required the Vitter Amendment to require all of Congress to live under the law of Obamacare, which, by the way, Mary, is a 90-10 issue with the public. They want Congress to have to live by the same law they've imposed on the rest of us. The groups like the Freedom Works, Matt Kibbe, groups like Heritage Action, Mike Needham, by the way, who are friends of mine, who I think I share a lot of the goals with, but I think their tactic here was very misguided, because what it did by basically saying we are not going to go for this deal and telling members of Congress and the Republicans not to go for it, it looks, Mary, like they're going to end up with something worse, not better.
So you've got Freedom Works, Heritage Action, and who in the House were the guys who kind of served as their talking heads who lobbied for those positions?
Well, you have, some of the people like Justin Amash of Michigan and Steve King of Iowa, who basically said, hold the line, we're winning this fight. And just, the problem was a lot of the Tea Party people and members of the Congress believed that Republicans could win, even up till the very last hours, Mary, where it became so clear that at this point they had to settle for the best that they could get. Unfortunately, by taking that position, as I look at it, Mary, they got nothing. They got pretty much nothing. The government's going to reopen. The debt ceiling is going to be extended on Barack Obama's terms. And then you wonder, what was this whole fight over the last 2 weeks about?
What was the whole fight about? It's a great question. Editorial board member Steve Moore, thanks so much for joining us.